Hey everybody, it's Pax. I need to get something off my chest before the gameplay starts, so bear with me. First off, my streamed phase check of the Scarlet keys went poorly. My Charlie Kane and Kaimani decks failed to function, my streaming setup was complete dog shit, and I never finished streaming it. I only won 2 scenarios, and I never gained a key. Here's a reenactment of how the finale went when I played it off camera. I've solved some of these problems though. I have a camera mount that now allows me to capture a much nicer view of my table, but I haven't settled on how to edit live play yet, so we're gonna stick with Tabletop Simulator. Next, I admit to myself and the world that I shouldn't bring investigators that I'm inexperienced with to campaigns I know nothing about and expect to do well while playing very late at night. So instead, I'm playing a Guardian and Seeker that I'm a lot more comfortable playing.
Nice.
But before the campaign kicks off, only 20% of people watching my videos are subscribed, and I'm planning on releasing more gameplay and commentary videos over the coming months. So please, feel free to subscribe, like the video, all that junk that I honestly feel sick to my stomach even asking you to do, but I am a slave to the dopamine from numbers going up as much as the next terminally online millennial. I'm going to be trying the campaign again on the channel as part of the campaign Playalong, which means I'll be playing from a limited card pool. This is going to introduce a bit more difficulty, but I'm bringing 2 investigators that are fairly strong and have great cards in the card pool. The goal of this campaign is the complete and total downfall of the Coterie. So we're playing the cop, Tommy and Muldoon. For weapons, I've got Machete and Runic Axe, Obsidian Bracelet as a filler slot for the Hunter's Armor that I'll pick up later on, and I'm using Grievous Wound because I like the double combat icon, and Tommy can afford to take a hit. Other than that, fairly straightforward card selections, and the only things I feel I'm missing from the card pool are Tetsuo and maybe Daring. Next we have Daisy Walker, and mostly I just wanted to play the Grim Memoir with her, and otherwise I've loaded up on tomes and some basic Seeker choices. Bizarre Diagnosis may seem like a funny choice, but there's not much health soak, and maybe I can heal a beat comp level 2 or an upgraded Gret mate later on. Who knows? Finally, I'm going for Empirical Hypothesis here, hoping to eventually hand some card draw to Tommy with it, as well as the upgraded Old Book of Lore. This really supports his shortcomings in finding cards after shuffling them back into his deck over and over. So let's get into it. So we're playing the Scarlet Keys, obviously. We're going to be going ahead and choosing standard difficulty. I read this last time. If there's more than one investigator in the game, we either go alone as requested or go with backup. We're just going to do the go alone. Doesn't really matter, I don't think. Skip to Intro 5. In Intro 5, we either get to take his offer to go to London or we go on our own terms. If I recall correctly, last time I went on my own terms, so I'm going to accept his offer this time. Trust is born of naivete. Remove an Elder Thing token from the Chaos bag and add a tablet. And then add 1 time. And then we do the normal setup, but fortunately, again, all that's done in Tabletop Simulator. Here's the starting hand that I got for Tommy. I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the Grievous Wound, the Glory, the Live and Learn, frankly, even the Perception. I'm going to hold on to the Obsidian Bracelet, because that could be a really good way to get a bunch of... Actually, you know what? No, I'm just going to get rid of the whole hand and try and get a weapon. Which I don't get, but I do get a Beat Cop and a Vicious Blow. So that's alright, I think. I can stand around using Stand Together and maybe grab some clues for the team here. As for Daisy, I got a pretty good opening hand. I got the Dr. Milan I'm looking for. I got one of my tomes. I think I'm just going to get rid of a Guts and get rid of a Burning the Midnight Oil. This other one I can use after I've played Dr. Milan to get myself up a decent amount of resources to be able to play the old book. But we're just going to get 2 new cards, a Mind Over Matter and an Encyclopedia. That's fine. An Empirical Hypothesis would have been a bit better to see, but it is what it is. So, as a reminder of what's going on here, when it rains, we arrive in London. We're waiting our contact, but none arrives. Inspector Flint, or one of his proxies, was supposed to meet you at a quiet tea house tucked away in a narrow storefront, just outside Trafalgar Square. Wondering what could have gone wrong and suspecting the worst, you set off to investigate. Forced, when this agenda advances, move all doom on it to the next agenda. In Clues and Capers, you draw your umbrella closer, using it to obscure your identity. Each person you pass on the street could be your contact or be out to get you. As a group, spend 4 clues to advance before the agenda advances. So you do not get a lot of time for this. We'll shuffle that encounter deck. The Chaos bag does indeed have a second tablet, which is a -1, and if there's a concealed mini card at your location, you reveal another Chaos token. So like a little mini curse. And then the skulls are -1, but -3 instead if you have 2 more clues. So that's good to know what that is. And we'll just go ahead. We'll start with Daisy. So like I said, we're going to be going 1, 2, 3, 4 for a Dr. Milan. And he's going to be giving us +1 intellect. We're going to investigate the location with a Burning the Midnight Oil as our second action. We're going to be investigating 6 against the Shroud of 2. +1, very nice. We get 2 resources, another 1 for the successful investigation, and then a clue as well. And then last action, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 for an Old Book of Lore, We're going to use our tome action to use the old book on Tommy. And Tommy is going to look at the top 3 cards of his deck and add one of them to his hand. May as well be Becky. I don't love seeing Becky early. I kind of prefer seeing her a bit later, especially since I have that obsidian bracelet in the deck. But honestly, at this point, a weapon's a weapon. We are at the rainy London streets, which has the plus X value, where it's the current act number. And it is currently at 2, so we could conceivably get 2 of these clues with Tommy, and we might just do that. I think this turn we're just going to go ahead and get set up with some cards, though. We're going to go ahead and stand together for 2 resources on each of us, and then we're going to play a beat cop for 4, and Becky for 2. And that'll be like, I don't know, that feels reasonable to me. We won't forget to get the 2 resources on Daisy. So we'll do our upkeep on Tommy here, get us the Runic Axe. Too little, too late, but that's all right. If Becky gets emptied of ammo and we can't reload it, we could just pop this down. I don't think that would be a huge deal. Upkeep on Daisy gets her a deduction. Okay, so we might not need to use that. Look what I found. Got 1 Doom on the agenda out of 2, and we'll take a look at our first encounter card for Tommy. It is a locked door attached to the location with the most clues and without a locked door attached. The attached location cannot be investigated. That's really annoying. It's kind of a bummer to get that super early, but I mean, it is what it is. And then for Daisy, we get a pinch in reality. You must either spend a clue or choose discard half of the non-weakness cards in your hand, rounded up. So I think that if I think I have to do the discard, and I think that's okay. I think it's all right to lose these and just use this deduction for the clues. I want to stay ahead of the agenda, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Oh, let's not forget our +1 from Beat Cop. Okay, so in order to stay ahead of the agenda, I'm going to attempt to clear that locked door with Tommy. I'm only going to be 1 up. I've got a lot of -1s in the bag, and I have this live and learn in hand, so let's just try it first action. A 0. So we just clear the locked door. That's really nice. But I think after that, rather than doing a bunch of investigations, trying to go a bit too fast, we're actually going to take some time to draw some cards and gain some resources. Maybe we just draw cards. Yeah, we just draw cards. Another Beat Cop. Okay. So now for Daisy, we're going to go ahead and use her old book on herself. And we're going to take this... Ooh. We're going to take the Grim Memoir, though. That tote bag's really tempting, but the Grim Memoir is going to go a long way. I wonder, do we play it this turn? We have to pass both the investigates afterwards. So I think no. I think we just investigate 6 against 2. That's 1 clue. We'll try it again. 6 against... Oh, and a resource. We'll do 7 against 2 with the deduction committed. Yeah, there we go. That's both the clues. And then I think we just go straight to advancing, don't we? Well, it does immediately get 2 clues back, right? If there are no clues on it, add clues to it until it has 1 per investigator clues on it. Oh, I guess I could have afforded to eat that treachery. Oh well, that's fine. Didn't know that at the time. But we'll go ahead and use these for clues and capers. You spot the figure on the other side of the street just as a bright red bus approaches. You are certain whoever was there was staring directly at you. The bus cuts a swath through the foggy street, and when it has passed, the figure is gone. Perhaps it is just your paranoia at work, but it cannot be a coincidence. It must have either been your contact or one of their foes, perhaps even the reason they are missing. Steeling yourself for any possibility, you set off in chase. Put the set-aside Kensington Gardens, Westminster Abbey, and Big Ben locations into play. The lead investigator draws the set-aside red-gloved man enemy and resolves his concealed keyword. So there's the concealed cards, and I think this is the right thing to do. I don't know. I only played this once. But this is now a 3-shroud location. And then finally, we advance the agenda directly to 2A, putting us at figures in the fog. So now we're at 1 out of 4 Doom. Your mind must be playing tricks on you. The shape and figures dance through the dense London fog whenever the rain lets up. Are these distortions like the one in the photograph Inspector Flint showed you? Or is it your quarry hiding in the mist and gloom? The game is afoot. You chase a shadow shrouded by night. It might as well be a needle in a haystack, but still you search, hoping for any clue that may lead you to the truth. Chase down the mysterious figure before the agenda advances. If an investigator engages the red-gloved man, advance. Great. I have 1 action remaining as Daisy, and I think it's going to be to play the Grim Memoir. Mostly because I just kind of want to try this thing out. the end of the round, we get upkeep for Tommy, which is a perception. That will help a little bit. And then for Daisy, we get an empirical hypothesis. So we should be drawing an awful lot of cards very shortly. 2 out of 4 Doom. And Tommy gets Undercover. If there are no enemies in the shadows, Undercover gains Surge. Otherwise, test Intellect or Agility. If you fail, place a decoy at the location with the most concealed mini cards. Flip it face down and shuffle each concealed mini card at that location. So this is mostly going to eat an action if I fail this, and I'm not going to fail this if I don't put anything into it. And I could, like, toss a Perception and a Look What I Found into it, but I kind of feel like those are more valuable for their effects than for passing one decoy. So I'm just going to lose this with an Intellect, I think, and place an extra decoy at our location. So here's the extra decoy. And now there's 2 of them. As for Daisy, we get another Pinch in Reality. I have to choose and discard half the non-weakness cards in my hand rounded up, which is 1. Alas. I've got an awful lot of options of what I can do with Tommy, and not very much at all to do with Daisy. Okay, so we're going to go ahead with Daisy first, and I want to spend some time securing some experience before I rush headlong into this act, because I think I did that last time and got absolutely fucked. So let's scoot on over to Big Ben here. That's a 4-shroud location with 2 clues, and it's got this free triggered ability to choose concealed mini cards at Big Ben or connecting locations and test agility. If you succeed, look at the revealed side without exposing them. If you fail, take a horror. So I'm not going to be trying that. I'm just going to be getting some clues. And so I'm going to try to investigate the location with the Grim Memoir one time. That's going to be an 8 against 4, and I get to draw a card if I succeed by 2 or more. I certainly do. So let's draw a card first. Unexpected Courage. We'll get our resource from that. Then we'll also get one of the clues off the location. We're going to just go ahead and do that again. Again, 8 against the value of 4. We get another card draw off of that. The other clue off the location, which finishes that off for me. And then I'm just going to old book myself to look for some more things to do in the future. I like the empirical hypothesis, I like the grimoire, and I like the unexpected courage. I like the unexpected courage mostly because I'm sitting here by myself, but Tommy's going to come follow. So let's try and get this other hypothesis into play. Hopefully we'll draw another memoir soon enough. Now I know Tommy's got a lot in his hand, and I really would hate to be too far from Daisy. But I know that there's another VP location. And I'm pretty sure it's the Kensington Gardens. I don't think it's the Westminster Abbey. I think the Westminster Abbey has just another ability that lets you reveal stuff. So I kind of want to shove over here and see if he can't look what I found, the clues off of that. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that. Daisy's got some unexpected courages, and we're not too far. So scoot over. Okay, good. After you expose a decoy at Kensington Gardens, heal a horror. After you expose an enemy at Kensington Gardens, take a horror. Okay, victory 1. So hopefully we don't pass this investigate, but we're probably going to pass this investigate. So we'll just try to investigate 3 against 2. A -2. Perfect. So we can play our Look What I Found and grab both of those clues. That's actually exactly what I wanted to do. And then we'll just move back and we'll get ready to go meet up with Daisy and start exposing guys again. So upkeep for Tommy gets him an overpower. That'll be really good for exposing. And then an upkeep gets Daisy a Word of Protection. Oh, that's nice to see too. 3 out of 4 Doom. Not a lot of time left to find the red-gloved man, but we'll see what we can do. The encounter card for Tommy is Heavy Rain. 3 willpower. For each point you fail by, you must either take 1 horror or place one of your clues on your location. That's interesting. I don't really need these clues right now, but I don't know if I need them later. But we could also just, like, drop a clue and then put a horror on the beat cop. That could be an option. But we're 3 against 3, so we just take it. I think that's a -3 right now because of the skulls. Yeah, that's a -3 because I have 2 clues. So for each point you fail by, you must either take a horror or place one of your clues on your location. So what I could do is take 1 horror to myself, 1 horror on my beat cop, and drop a clue. I don't hate that. That's fine. Now for Daisy, we get Knives in the Dark. After you expose a decoy, take 2 damage. Limits once per round at the end of your turn. We're just going to go ahead and Word of Protection that one. We'll put that on. Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to deal with that agility test. I'm going to be doing a lot of my exposing with Daisy, so let's not deal with that. Good, good. So I think Daisy's going to be the first one to start doing exposes, so we're just going to go ahead and attempt the next Grimoire test here. Again, let's go 10 against 4, -2. We'll trigger the perception first, and I guess we'll just trigger both the draws of a Necronomicon. Let's have that just hit this memoir. I think the obel's a little more valuable than one more draw. But we do get to reveal the dude. It's a decoy! Goodbye. And honestly, I'm kind of happy for it to be a decoy. That's perfectly fine. Also, that was a successful investigation. So I should have also gained a resource. We'll head down to the new location. We'll head down to Westminster Abbey, just to be absolutely certain. This is a 1 shroud parlay test, 1 willpower to ask around the Abbey. For each point you succeed by, look at the revealed side of a concealed minicard at the chosen location. I suppose we could look at both of those, or just investigate this one, maybe? So I think we just have to investigate our current location again, at which point I'll just be 6 against 1. But that's fine. A 0. Moment of truth. There's the red-gloved man. So the red-gloved man spawns, and we clean up all the concealed cards. I'm pretty sure that technically he engages Daisy here, and then we immediately advance. The game is afoot. After much toil and pursuit, you finally catch up to the figure you've been chasing. A feeling of vindication washes over you as you spot the red gloves the man wears. It was no phantom you chased. This is the one you've sought all along. You corner him in a narrow alleyway, sheets of rain and fog masking your approach. Several more figures flank the man. A meeting, perhaps? To your surprise, he casts an expressionless glance in your direction. Then, fast as a flash of lightning and gone just as swiftly, a formless shape ducks out of view. A chunk of a nearby building goes along with it. When you turn to question your quarry about what happened, they have all fled east. You inch forward and examine the partially excised wall, covered in an ectoplasmic substance, like the negative of an undeveloped photo. Set the Red Glove Man aside out of play, put the set-aside Tower Bridge and Tower of London locations into play, shuffle the set-aside Crimson Conspiracy and Outsider encounter decks into the encounter deck, encounter sets into the encounter deck along with the encounter discard pile, advance the agenda directly to Agenda 3A, do not resolve Agenda 2B. It is clear now that Inspector Flint's hunches were correct. The man in the red gloves is not operating alone, and whatever he is up to, it has something to do with the recent vanishings. You could wait to report what you've seen, but by then the man and his cohorts may have already put into motion whatever scheme they are planning. No, you have only one choice. You must find the man with the red gloves at all costs. Your gaze turns eastward, the direction you last saw the men heading. Over the Tower Bridge lies the famed Tower of London, where even more eyes watch your approach, these belonging to a conspiracy of dark and brooding ravens. For what reason could he be heading there? Only investigators at the Tower of London may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. We need 6 clues in total, of which we already have 3. I do have one more action available on Daisy here, and I'm very tempted to just grab 2 clues while it's easy. Actually, you know what? 1, 2. Let's just get that empirical hypothesis into play. Now, the current act is Act 3, which means this is a 4-shroud location, which is kind of a bummer, but I think I can get a clue with Tommy here. Maybe that would give us enough to get up around there. What I could do is take and investigate, use up a live and learn, and then commit a perception to the second one. That would put me at, 7, I guess? It's pretty good odds, I think. So maybe we'll just give that a go. We'll investigate 3 against 4. -1, that's a failure. We'll do the live and learn, and we'll commit the perception to it. A -1. There's no one in the shadows, so I just get my perception draw. I got my clue. I think I just spawned 1 too many, so let's get rid of that. I don't want to be too far from Daisy, so I think I'm actually just going to go meet up with her. That would also give me an opportunity to grab another clue from here. And to be honest with you, I'm just going to take that test. 3 against 1, -1, that's another clue. Okay, upkeep for Tommy. Gets us a grievous wound. That's really good for committing right now, since Becky obviously is not going to be too useful for a melee weapon. And then on Daisy, we're going to get an unexpected courage. Now, at the start of the round, because that happens before I click the Doom button up top, I am choosing succeed by 3 or more. So we get up to 4 Doom, and I'm just going to shuffle that for good measure because it's got all those extra encounter cards in there. We'll take a look and see what Tommy gets. Seeing Shadows. After you fail a skill test while at a location with a concealed minicard, take a horror. Just a double action to clear, not a big deal. Daisy, undercover. If there are no enemies in the shadows, gain surge. You must either spend a clue or choose and discard half the non-weakness cards in your hand, rounded up.
I didn't do fucking
Holy shit.
I didn't rig shit.
Okay. God. Oh, that's painful. I feel like these could be useful, man. I'm tired of losing my entire hand over and over. I'm just going to spend a clue this time. I've lost enough cards. That's fine, thank you. Okay. That gives Tommy free license to take another investigate here. That's going to put him at 3 against 1 again. That's a -3 this time. So that's kind of annoying. But that's also fine. We'll just leave it for Daisy. We'll move up 1 location. And to be honest with you, I think we might just move into the Tower Bridge. No, I'm happy to stay here, I think. I don't want to move too fast without her. So instead, I'm just going to take a resource. So for Daisy, we're going to try to investigate this location. We're 6 against 1. A -1. We get a evidence on our empirical hypothesis. And a resource from Dr. Milan. And a clue from the location. We'll move up to meet up with Tommy. Then we'll investigate the location. We're going to be at 5, 6, let's go 7. Let's just get to 8, 9. 9 against the 4 shroud. To pick up the 2 remaining clues off that location. And then last but not least, we're just going to Old Book of Lore ourselves. Try and find something useful. Hey, there's the Grim Memoir. Do we want to lose the old book for it right now, though? Not really. I think I'll just take the guts. Could help with a test. So upkeep for Tommy gets him a rabbit's foot, and then upkeep for Daisy gets her an occult invocation. Very nice. Once again, choosing succeed by 3 for the empirical hypothesis, and frankly, unless I say otherwise, that's what it's going to be. Have I said that yet? 5 doom on the agenda, and Tommy gets heavy rain. For each point you fail by, you must either take a horror or place one of your clues on your location. Well, that's where we're at right now. It's nice that Daisy got this guts to throw over to him, and that'll only put me 2 up, which I'm not happy with those skulls being -3s, so we're just going to put this obsidian bracelet into it as well and be 6 against 3. 0, totally unnecessary, but we crushed it. And also Daisy gets to replace that and gets her haunted into play, but that's alright. I'm happy to get rid of a haunted. Conspiracy in red, place 1 doom on an enemy in the shadows. If there's no enemies in the shadows, search the encounter deck and discard pile for an enemy with the concealed keyword and draw it. Shuffle the encounter deck. The moment she described his outfit, the line went dead. Well, shit, there's only one guy, isn't there? So it's going to be Coterie Agent A, concealed 2 when he enters the shadow, place a doom on him. When it's exposed, you discard it. Unfortunately, we may have to do some backtracking depending on where this guy lands. So we're going to do 1 on us, 1 on the Tower Bridge, and 1 on the Westminster Abbey. And we're going to have to go ahead and see what we can do from there. So we're going to take things nice and slow. We're going to get rid of this Seeing Shadows with Tommy, because I really don't want to fuck around with that. And then we're going to take a shot with an overpowered at finding this concealed guy. So we're going to be at 7 against 4, which is fine. -3, glad that we did that. Let's take the card draw first, and what have we got? Decoy. Bummer. Next, I'm going to have Daisy clear this haunted, because I feel like this could actually turn to be a problem. It's a little bit early in the scenario to just tank that, so let's get our stats back. We'll go ahead and Old Book of Lore ourselves once again, looking at the top 3 cards of the deck. Let's take the tote bag so that we can start playing some other cards eventually. And then, last action, we're going to move on ahead. I don't want to be standing around in the center of location with both of my characters for too much longer. Otherwise, these guys are going to accumulate a lot of doom. So she's going to push forward into the Tower Bridge. It's a 2-shroud location, 2 clues. Maybe there's another way in. Test willpower or intellect 5. If you succeed, put the set-aside Trader's Gate location into play. Okay. So just more clues and the concealed card here. Go ahead and do our upkeep for Tommy. What does that get him? It gets him his other obsidian bracelet. That's fine. And for Daisy, we get a Mind Over Matter, which is really good. That's really good to see right after I walked away from Tommy. So we're going up to 7 out of 9 doom. after having that extra one in play. And an encounter card for Tommy is going to look like what? Another Seeing Shadows. Okay, that's kind of annoying. I think this one I maybe just don't clear, unfortunately. And for Daisy, we get another Coterie agent. Super. So here's our new set. We're going to be placing one with us, one back with Tommy, and one forward on the Tower of London. We're going to have to do that. That is a major pain in the ass. So hopefully we can clear one of them this turn, but if we don't clear one, we're going to be advancing 2 turns early. And I wonder if eating those 2 turns is worth just not dealing with them. That's kind of where I'm at on this. Because if you think about it, I do have 7 out of the 6 required. You need to get some more clues to walk into the Tower of London, and then you need more to spend as well. But, like, this could be enough, couldn't it? Could I just eat these lost turns? I don't like to. So no, we're not going to plan on eating a lost turn. Instead, we're going to attempt to reveal the guy at Tommy's location. We're going to be 7 against 4. A -4. That is a bummer. Because we take a horror when we fail a skill test while at a location with a concealed minicard. But we can live and learn and try that again. Still 3 up. -1. And a -4.
Stinky!
That's a huge bummer. Okay. I think that we do just abandon it at this point then. So we'll move up with Daisy. Don't want to waste too much effort trying this shit out. And we just need to get some more clues, don't we? Yeah, we need to spend 4 to get in there, and I believe there's 2 more to pick up at that location. I could just take a pot shot at one of them with Tommy. I think that's fine. Fuck it, we'll try it one more time. We'll be at 5 against 2. Jesus. Let's get up over the -1. Or the -4. Okay, -1. So let's expose one of them. Which one to expose? How about this one? Hey, Coterie Agent A. There we go. And Coterie Agent A is exposed and gets instantly discarded. Okay. So all of Tommy's turn to save 1 round, kind of worth, right? Because he's not doing any fighting right now anyways, and he's not very competent at getting the clues we need to advance. So, okay. That's acceptable. This one can't be... This one has to be a decoy, doesn't it? That's right. This could be Coterie Agent B, but this has to be a decoy. So carrying on with Daisy, I think we're just going to investigate a bunch and move on. That seems fine to me. So we're going to investigate 6 against 2, -1 for 1 clue, and a resource. 6 against 2, -1 would have been 5, so that gets us an evidence as well. We'll do it again. 6 against 2, -3, that's the next clue. Let's go ahead and use another old book on ourselves. We'll take the other occult invocation. Actually, we're going to take a research librarian. Not because we want him, but because we need some chaff to throw into an occult invocation for when an actual enemy shows up. And I think last action, we're just going to see if we can reveal this last decoy at our location. That is an exact success. He should be exhausted. We'll see if this is the other Coterie agent. And it is! All right. Oh my gosh. That is a huge relief. So I think all of these guys go away. And this Coterie agent gets discarded as well. That's a big relief. Really big relief. Saves us so much time. Okay, upkeep for Tommy. Gets us a refine. Very nice. And upkeep for Daisy gets us the other occult invocation. We go up to 7 doom. And our encounter card for Tommy is a locked door of a location with the most clues. Are there any locations with clues?
Look, gang! A door!
I wonder where it leads.
We'll never know.
Then an encounter card for Daisy is, of course, the last Coterie agent. But that's fine. With our enemy in the shadows up here, and our 2 decoys and our Coterie agent, we'll see what happens. But I think that I am just going to let this one pop. I don't see any reason I have to stop him. Because once the doom's gone, they're just worthless, right?
What's going on with you? What are you talking about?
Daisy's going to use her old book on Tommy. He's going to look 3 deep for something. Well, Glory's fine. Motivational speech is fine. Take a motivational speech, I suppose. And then she's just going to go ahead and move into the Tower of London. We're allowed to spend them from both of us, so here's 4 clues, 1 from Daisy and the remainder from Tommy. And Daisy's just going to move into the Tower of London. 3 shroud location. At the end of your turn, at the tower. After you end your turn at the Tower of London, you must either lose 2 resources or each enemy in the shadows attacks you. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. So I do kind of need to reveal them. Shit. Okay. But I do only need 1 more clue to advance, so that's kind of nice. I've also got an absolute fuckload of money, so it's not a big deal if that fails to happen. We'll go ahead and we'll investigate this location. Are we enough up? Yeah, 6 against 3? We'll just try that. Elder Sign, that's an auto fail. Okay, glad I didn't commit. 6 against 3. -1, we get a resource from Milan Christopher. That puts us 5 against 3, so we don't get our empirical hypothesis. We do get the last clue we need to advance. So only investigators at the Tower of London may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. I think I'm going to end my turn and then spend them on Tommy's turn. That sounds correct to me. I don't want something really stupid to happen. So we'll go ahead and end our turn, and we'll lose 2 resources doing so. Now Tommy's going to go ahead and shove into the Tower of London with her. Also, there's 1 less clue in that location. Forgot to actually take it off. And then we're going to spend those 6 clues. So let's see what we've got. Quietly and cautiously, you follow the figure from a distance. With measured haste, he darts to and fro inside the ominous tower, searching for something. Finally, while you watch from the shadows, the man with the red gloves finds what he's looking for. A loose brick along one of the candlelit hall's many columns. He casually rotates the stone back into place with a kind of nonchalance, as if he were dealing with a piece of misplaced laundry. To your surprise, a section of the nearby wall rotates in turn, revealing a secret passageway. He ascends into darkness, and you follow in secret. Put the set-aside Tower Prison location into play. Attach the set-aside Eye of Raven's key to the Tower Prison, not controlled by anyone. Move all concealed mini-cards in play to the Tower Prison. Draw the set-aside Red Gloved Man enemy and resolve his concealed keyword, putting all those concealed mini-cards into play at the Tower Prison. So we're going to have our Coterie agent, the Red Gloved Man with 2 extra decoys, and the 2 decoys already in play that we're going to have to churn through to find him, aren't we? So here's the Tower Prison. Here's the Eye of Ravens attached and not controlled. Here's the concealed cards that we originally had, and here's my Red Gloved Man and his 2 decoys that are all getting randomly distributed at the location. Now, I don't really want to end my turn here with Tommy, but I also don't really want to leave Daisy hanging. So I think we're going to go ahead and just clear this Seeing Shadows. That does seem like it could be a really big problem in the finale here. And we're going to eat 2 resources so as to not take a hit from each of those guys. Actually, maybe we could. Yeah, look at this. 1 damage and 1 horror? That kills off our beat cop perfectly. That could give us a ton of ammo for Becky. I think I almost have to do that, don't I?
Yes.
So the Coterie agent's going to attack us first, and then What's-His-Face is going to attack us second. We're going to get 4 ammo placed on Becky, and he's going to shuffle back into our deck. And fortunately, we have this motivational speech and a beat cop in hand so that we can get him right back, basically. Okay, that's the end of the round. So we get an upkeep on Tommy. Gets us a machete from the deck. Don't forget that. And we've got an upkeep on Daisy that gets us another Ward of Protection. That's pretty good. We do unfortunately doom out here because we've gotten up to 9, so that comes off of him at least. And we'll see what we've got. As the night grows deeper and the rain becomes a torrent, you flinch at every moving shadow, every sound, every shape. You wonder if perhaps the investigation is getting the best of you. Or maybe there are more of them than you thought, lying in wait for the perfect opportunity to strike. The lead investigator must decide. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Coterie agent enemy and draw it, shuffle the encounter deck, or each investigator takes 1 damage and 1 horror. As much as I hate it, I kind of feel like I have to take a damage and horror, or we're just going to be churning through so many goddamn things. Plots and panic. Deep fog blots out the moonlight, bathing the city in utter darkness. From the rooftops, ravens watch your progress with inhuman intelligence. Every moving shadow sets your mind racing. If you don't find the man with the red gloves and stop his plans, who knows what he will do next. Oh, I forgot to read the fucking next act. Somewhere in these forgotten crypts, the man with the red gloves is searching for something, but for what purpose? The red gloved man gains Parlay Test 5 or 5 to interrogate the Red Glove Man. If you succeed, place a resource on him. Stop the Red Glove Man from stealing the Eye of Ravens. If he is defeated, or if there are 1 per investigator resources on him, advance. Okay, so we have to find him and defeat him. I assume defeating him was the goal, but I suppose that talking to him and convincing him otherwise is an acceptable alternative. But as we all know, there is no talking with these people, and they must be stopped, and they must be killed. Okay, an encounter card for Tommy. Hunting shadows, you must either take 2 damage or spend a clue. Ouch. And then an encounter card for Daisy is Knives in the Dark. After you expose a decoy, take 2 damage? No. We've got some pretty easy turns this turn, so we'll go ahead and just do it on Tommy first. We'll get the Beat Cop into play for 1 resource. Using the motivational speech, we'll move over to the Tower Prison here. While an investigator at the Tower Prison is performing a skill test, spend a clue. That investigator gets +2 skill value for this test. Oh, okay. When a concealed minicard would enter play anywhere other than the prison. Okay, fair enough. So we do have 1 action left. I suppose I could just... Can I just take shots with Becky? Can I just shoot at them with Becky? I've got a lot of ammo. Okay, well, since we're down to the wire now, I guess we're just going to start using Becky ammo. And now that we've got ammo on her as well, we're going to start taking Becky shots at these guys. So I'm going to be 7 against 4 to expose one of them. That's a 0. And let's see who we get. A decoy. We're going to move over for sure. I kind of want to get the clues first. Well, let's just go ahead and old book ourselves. Get something going on here. I don't know if another Burning the Midnight Oil is that useful. Neither is Dr. Milan. We'll take the guts. And then we'll just investigate twice. 6 against 4. Auto failure. -1 for 1 clue. 1 resource. Upkeep for Tommy gets him a look what I found. I will take that for sure. Upkeep for Daisy gets us the Dr. Milan Christopher back. 1 out of 7 doom. Encounter card for Tommy is going to be a Hunting Shadow. Another 2 damage. Then our encounter card for Daisy is Figures in the Dark. If there are no enemies in the shadow, gain Surge. Otherwise, each enemy attacks you or each investigator loses an action. I can take an attack. We'll just lose Dr. Christopher and take 1 damage. We're just going to go ahead and replay him. We'll go ahead and old book Tommy. We'll take Gret. And then we'll take an investigate. We're up to 6 again. We'll take an investigate 8 against 4. -2, that is a successful. And then we will take another investigate. We'll just toss the Daisy's tote bag into it again, 8 against 4. -1, there's a ton of concealed enemies, and -2, that is another clue off the location. Now Tommy over here is going to take a double action to play his Refine. Immediately mark a checkbox on an upgrade sheet for customizable card I own, even if it's not in play. We're going to go ahead and get 1 check on the Script Weaver. And for his last action, he's just going to go ahead and take another shot at a random guy. It's going to be 7 against 4 again. -1. We'll go ahead and reveal this one. Oh shit, the Red Glove Man! Not quite who I wanted to see on the very last action here, but it'll have to do. See if I can get that last clue and just kill the shit out of him next turn. So he's going to attack us for 1 and 1. And then we're going to get our upkeep, which is a motivational speech. And for Daisy, a librarian, research librarian. Great. Okay, cool. Shame about the Necronomicon, because I really hate having the extra auto-fail while I'm attacking into poor Tommy here. But hopefully I can just get 2 big attacks off. That would be really nice. 2 out of 7 Doom. And encounter cards for Tommy. We get a Crypt Chill. If you fail, choose and discard an asset you control. I would love to not fail that, but I don't know that I can. So we'll try an Obsidian Bracelet and a Motivational Speech to get up to 5. And then we'll get that Guts from Daisy to get up to 7. -1. Very nice. We don't lose either the Beat Cop or Becky. Love to see that. Daisy also gets to replace her Guts there. Ooh, an encyclopedia. That's good. And then the Knives in the Dark. After you expose a decoy, take 2 damage. Fortunately, we are no longer exposing decoys. So that's perfectly fine. I have no reason to hold on to these anymore, so I'm just going to draw 2 cards right away with Daisy to hope and find some better things. And we did find some better things, but not like incredibly better things. I suppose we could play the encyclopedia and get +2 to Tommy's attacks. That would be very strong. So let's go ahead and do something like that. Let's investigate the location with the burning the midnight oil and the perception committed to get up to 8 against 4. -2. We redraw with the perception. We get that last clue off the location. Very nice. We'll spend 2 resources to play an encyclopedia. We'll use the encyclopedia tome to give Tommy +2 to his combat for the turn. That'll put him up to 7 there. And is there anything else that we can really even help with? I feel like the answer is just, if I use an occult invocation into him, there's a very real risk of just killing Tommy, isn't there? So I feel like that's like just kind of dumb. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to draw a card to see if we can get another commit. And we don't. Okay, and it's ripping time, right? So we just use Becky, that gets us up to 9, and we use a vicious blow, and that gets us up to 10, and we use another vicious blow, and that gets us up to 11 against 5. And he's dead. Enjoy the Hex Zone. If you defeated the Red Glove Man, the figure reels backwards, grasping at his wounds. Something small clatters to the ground. The man says nothing, only glares at you from the darkness. His gloves seem to ripple around his hands like the disturbed surface of a deep crimson pool. And after a moment, he straightens himself. Then, blending in the shadows, he tips his hat and is gone. Add him to the victory display and R1. You search for the man with the red gloves through every possible hiding place and down every shadowed corridor, but he is well and truly gone. It is as if he vanished into thin air. You wonder for a moment if he was somehow erased from existence, like the other disappearances. But you don't believe so. There's no mark, no ectoplasmic remains. He simply was there, and then he was not. You give up searching for him, and instead examine the object that clattered to the ground during your scuffle. It is a small ruby marble, no larger than an eye. Indeed, you investigate the crypt that the man was rummaging through, and find that the marble's size matches the eye sockets of the long-deceased corpse inside. They must have been buried with it, meaning perhaps this marble is what the man with the red gloves sought all along. But why? Investigating further, you find neither name nor epitaph identifying the corpse buried here. Only the following lines of what appears to be poetry chiseled into the lid of the body's coffin. With red we are bound, through red we are one. Thus in red do we bury our kin and our ken. May you rest until you are needed once more. Before you have time to even consider what this might mean, you hear the telltale rumbling of the secret passageway shifting upstairs once more, and the pounding of heavy footsteps down the stairwell. You arm yourself and prepare for a fight. To your surprise, it is Inspector Flint who greets you, held at gunpoint by a woman dressed in a black suit, wide-brimmed hat, and matching black trousers. She has ebony dark skin, cold eyes underscored by heavy bags, and short curly hair. 2 other suits flank her, both of whom say nothing and stand like statues as she enters the crypt. She flashes an unidentifiable silver badge and motions for you to stay put. Where did the man with the red gloves go, she asks. And who are you? Can I put my hands down now? Inspector Flynn asks. So we get Victory X. What do we got? We got 4 total. And now an investigator has to be the bearer of the Eye of Ravens. We'll just make it Tommy. And then finally, we haven't seen the last of the red-gloved man. We mark 1 time in the campaign log, and we proceed to the interlude. Interlude. Oh, wall of text! Okay. We do not tell Taylor about the disappearances. We get an elder thing back in the bag from keeping our mouths shut. And then the next morning, the cell meets in the tea room, yada, yada, yada. There's a whole bunch of places we can go. Read the rules for all this shit, Foundation dossiers. And when you're ready to proceed, embark from London to a new location. Embarking in travel, the Foundation dossiers. The Foundation dossiers. Holy shit, there's a fucking map, folks. Buckle in, because I never had the first scenario go well before. I've never gotten a key in this campaign, and I am so far succeeding at killing the shit out of the Coterie. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.